It's lovely.
Sadie says she worries for baby Esme and her 2 other children. Every week she struggles to make ends meet to feed, clothe and house her family. It only takes a small change in circumstances for things to become very difficult. That happened recently when a mistake was made in her universal credit payments.
It was in November and the universal credit paid me £231, which was for a month with 2 children. I was heavily pregnant. And I had no shop run, no money for gas, electric. I had to pay bills and keep on top of things. I couldn't do none of it. I got a bit depressed, got down. I was crying, every time I thought about how I'm going to feed my children.
She says she couldn't have survived without the help of her children's school, North Deans Primary in Great Yarmouth. Here they've set up a food bank in the school to help families who are struggling. It's run and stocked by donations from staff and members of the community.
That is a truly godsend. I couldn't have got through that month without the help from the school.
This started quite simply with one child coming into school saying, "Can you help my mum? We haven't got any food." We have a wellbeing team and we had a chat and put it to staff and people donated food. And then as we've gone on, publicity has meant that people have made donations, which is making it more sustainable.
Debbie says too many families in the area are living in poverty and she sees the effect on their children.
It's hidden poverty, people who are on very low incomes. In this area there's a lot of seasonal work, so the work's there in the summer, it's not there this time of year, things close down. Then you go on to benefits, it's a new claim, so it's then, at the moment as it is, universal credit, you then have a 5-week wait and the whole cycle seems to go round.
The poverty affects pupils when they come to school hungry in many cases, and some pupils are not dressed appropriately for the weather, so that becomes another issue. And then you've also got the issue of you set work for the pupils or they haven't prepared well enough because they don't have access to the books, the equipment.
It's a similar story here at West Earlham Infant School in Norwich. To help, the school funds and runs a breakfast club for pupils. For many families, breakfast clubs are the only way of guaranteeing their children have a decent meal at the start to their day.
We know that children who are not having breakfast will not be as focused and attentive as they could be. We want to make sure that our children have the very best chances, despite some of the pressures from home, and as much as possible we want to make sure that every child has an equal opportunity.
But there's criticism that schools cannot and should not be filling the gap for social services. In recent years, there have been significant cuts to children's facilities as councils try to make savings. Combine that with central government policies like the child benefit cap and cuts to early years care, and charities say families have nowhere to go and limited support.
With the local authority budget cuts, and they are vast cuts, the resources, the services that families need are getting cut to the bone. If we don't invest in our children now, the cost will be added on somewhere along the line, whether it's in the criminal justice system, the health system, the social care system. And until we get the investment in preventative services again, the gains are going to be minimal.
Critics say there needs to be a much more holistic and longer-term approach to tackling childhood poverty. Children who grow up in poverty are more likely to have physical and mental health problems and social care issues. That means that they're more likely to have to access support services throughout their adult lives, and they're less likely to find employment and stability in their lives. And the impact of that will be felt not only by them, but by society as a whole. And ultimately, it will be society that ends up paying the price. The broader costs of childhood poverty are estimated to be around £29 billion a year.
Until we tackle that, we are going to be saying to our children, unfortunately, you are going to do badly, and that then becomes a domino effect. They do badly at school, therefore they do less well when they go into work, and therefore it's lower paid jobs, and that whole cycle of deprivation just continues, and we have to break that cycle.
There are lots of people struggling with the daily grind of poverty, and there are many organisations trying to help. But the message is that if we don't invest in our children now, they and we will pay the price later on. By acting now, not only will it prevent thousands of childhoods being blighted by poverty, but it will ensure that society as a whole has a brighter outlook. Tanya Mercer, ITV News.